Okay, so I put a ton of thought into this, right? So let's pretend that I'm an incredibly intelligent geneticist. Or wait, maybe I'm Nigel Marvin. Let's pretend that I'm like Nigel Marvin and I somehow have the secrets of time travel at my disposal, and I decide to go back in time and rescue some dinosaurs before they go extinct. So at the entrance of the park, I would say that you would have some smaller dinosaurs to kind of like get everybody used to the fact that these animals that have been extinct for millions of years are suddenly back. And so smaller ones will probably be a little bit easier for them to digest before we get to the bigger ones. First off, I would have Psittacosaurus. And the reason for that is, I mean, because look at it. I would also have Coelophysis because that's a smaller theropod. One that's also a little bit lesser known, and also from the Triassic period, which there weren't too many dinosaurs in the Triassic period anyway, so I at least want to include one. And then as you keep walking through the park, you'll come across some type of ornithomimid. I haven't decided exactly which one yet, but I think I would go with Struthiomimus or Ornithomimus. Not something as big as Gallimimus, because honestly they were a lot bigger than you might think. And then you start getting to the larger dinosaurs. We'll go on to a larger ceratopsian, because I think that something like that is extremely, is a necessity, because I love ceratopsians. So I think we would have Pachyrhinosaurus, probably a few of them, because they likely were in groups, those type of dinosaurs. So some Pachyrhinosaurus that you could see, love them. And then some hadrosaurs. I'd say we'd go for Parasaurolophus, because they are incredibly awesome animals, and they have incredible head crests. I think that they'd be something that'd be really cool to see for the public. But then they need to be blindsided with a weird one. We would have a Dinocyrus or two, depending on what their lifestyle was like. Be this awesome open swampy exhibit is what I'm picturing, and these guests will be hit with a, wow, that looks like a giant duck. It's incredible. But then we need to mix it up with a few carnivorous dinosaurs here and there. So we'll have a smaller one. We'll have Ceratosaurus in one of the exhibits, kind of like getting them used to the bigger and kind of scarier ones. But then you also need to have a sauropod in this kind of situation, because they're incredibly iconic. And honestly, if I went to a dinosaur zoo and I didn't see a sauropod, I'd think that I was cheated out of my probably very expensive ticket. So which sauropod is the question? And I think that the best option would likely be something like Diplodocus, something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable, because I've watched Prehistoric Park, all right? I know how difficult it is to have a titanosaur walk around your park, all right? Very hard to contain. So something that's a little bit smaller might be a bit easier to contain, something like that. And then again, with a smaller carnivorous theropod dinosaur, I would have Dilophosaurus. Smaller, it's still pretty big. It's taller than likely you and I are. Something like that I think would be really cool to see, especially in a park like this. And then we move on to the bigger theropod dinosaurs, carnivorous theropod dinosaurs. I'm on the fence if I would want to include Tyrannosaurus Rex, simply because they are extremely strong animals and would likely be incredibly difficult to contain. Also, it's likely that they would need a huge territory in order to be comfortable. And I'm a little wildlife adventurer. I can't afford that much land. So I think that as far as large carnivorous dinosaurs go, I think I would have Allosaurus. Simply because it's not too large and is a little bit more manageable than something like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but is still iconic and really cool to look at. And if folks are wanting to see a Tyrannosaur in general, then maybe we can include something like Albertosaurus or Gorgosaurus, or even something as awesome as Eutyrannus. So that would be my park. I don't know, I had a lot of fun thinking that up. It's something that I've done my entire life, because I've always wanted to have some sort of dinosaur park as a kid. But yeah, those are my dinosaurs in my park. I don't want too many, because I've seen a documentary about what happens when things go wrong in this type of park. But yeah, that's my park.